Pushing number 1 in the world in Clash Royale might be the hardest challenge to ever do in this game, but what about pushing to number 1 and 2 in the world at the same time? This is exactly what we did with this absolutely incredible minor wall breaker control deck, and I can tell you guys, this deck is absolutely incredible. If you play it right currently, you can't lose it, and especially with the cannoneer combination in this. Yes, I'm a pay-to-win guy. After the last videos where I played without evolution, had a ton of success in Clash Royale, I feel like I deserve that. I deserve to use a pay-to-win territory, but yeah, people are still not sure about like how good the cannoneer really is compared to the Princess Tower. I'm gonna give you guys a statement. So I got really easily to number 1 and 2 in the world. Okay, not as easy as it sounds, but I'm just gonna tell you it's easy because it looks cooler, or it sounds cooler. But no, seriously. So what I would say is, if you're using a cycle deck, at example, and yeah, you have the cannoneer unlocked, make sure to use it in there. So you really want to make sure to use the cannoneer in a cycle deck because it's just way better. This deck, you will also see it later, it's so good against Lavahound decks, so good against beatdown decks. These are all the decks you normally lose to. You normally strike against lava decks, you normally strike against golem decks, but with the cannoneer you got a way better matchup, but also it's better against Hog Rider cycle. If you're a beatdown merchant, if you're like a Lavahound player, golem player, or even a Electro Giant player, I would always say play the Princess Tower, because the Prince Tower makes sure that you're able to defend better against Swarm Troops, which is the most important thing, right? Because of this deck, at example, you're facing off against like a Goblin Gang spam deck with bats, like this minor wall deck at examples, right? You don't have like Spear Guns to defend this, you don't have like something like that, so you always need to overcommit with your Electro Dragons in a golden type of deck at example, and also with your like Barbarians on something, right? Which you normally don't really spend. At example, like against like Skeletons, you need to commit something, otherwise they're gonna get a shot. And this is kind of thing, right? With golden decks, with heavy beatdown decks, you just want to focus on defending really cheaply, and you can't really overspend on defense, and you always need to overspend with not having the Princess Tower as a main troop. So like, of course this deck is also viable with the cannoneer, with the Princess Tower in there. As I said, like, that's the normal minor wallbreaker deck. You guys wanted to see minor wallbreaker gameplay again, exactly what we're gonna do today. I actually played this game on stream, so yeah, I apologize for you guys. I would have loved to do a live gameplay, but I can't do any live gameplay anymore because I'm currently number 1 and 2 in the world. So yeah, this is bad, but sometimes life is hard. So using my poison here on top of the Royal Recruit, playing against a matchup where I feel like this matchup isn't that bad. I just need to be a bit careful about overcommitting. And of course, this is a matchup where I also felt like, it's better. It's better with the cannoneer because it's a beatdown card overall, but it's not like you can't win this with a Princess Tower. So now I'm just gonna go in here to use my wall breaker, and I'm also gonna go for bats there. Maybe I could have Logbait, but I actually decided to didn't, but we still got a wallbreak connection. He goes in for this. I need to go knight there. To be fair, I didn't even need to go knight because the cannoneer plus log is able to one-shot the LP there. So we're now a bit on damage behind against Canary. You all guys, like, you love Canary, you guys know him. He's one of the best players in the world. He's actually world champion 2019 with Liquid. Yeah, it was the 1 HP game. Yes, I remember the game. Yes, I don't want to talk about that. So using my spear guns here in the middle to just strike everything. The opponent is going to go in there for a rage. We just need to go knight here. Now it's time for me to go in for my wall breakers. I'm just going to go log there, and we're just going to go bats there. That was a really smart minions. It's kind of like sometimes he goes in minions, sometimes he goes in with his goblins. So it's really hard to kind of predict what he really is going to do at this time to counter my wall breaker. So I'm just going to go in for my wall breaker again. This time I'm just going to go log because I know his okay, this is a really good rage. His fiber was out of hand, so it's really hard for him to defend. So I'm just going to go for my bats. I'm just going to go Spear Golems here. Need to go Wallbreaker high just to make sure to distract everything. Using a defensive log also because Royal Recruits is still so annoying. Using my Bomb Tower, using my Knight here. Minions actually get one shot. Using my Spear Golems to the side, and we're doing an absolutely incredible job here of defending. You guys love my Wall Picker. I think about doing a 1-hour guide of just playing this deck and teach you live gameplay against the best players in the world and matchups. So let me know if you guys want to see this type of video for minor wall break. I think Ian and Riley did this for Hog and Logbait as well. So using our miner in the back, it's over. I'm just going to defend there, and this is over. GG's well played. So yeah, this is absolutely busted, guys. So guys, now we actually got sniped from Akaza, the guy who hacked himself to get number 1. I don't like him. I don't really like him. He is like a really weird guy. He's always, I know, sniping me, stream sniping me, and then he's like tweeting about me, and he blocked me after I ratioed him once. So we have a really weird connection in there. But no, never mind. He sniped me here. He's normally Electro Giant. This time he plays like a Graveyard deck with the Ice Wizard also, which is even harder compared to the Little Prince because like Tornado He also got the ISOs against my bats. He just got a really good defense. Of course, we all know Cannoneer isn't too great against the graveyard. So using my knight there, using my bats not just to pressure a bit, using my miner back since I knew his tornado is out of hand, and also at the same time, which is a bit bad about like this kind of, I would say like this is also a big advantage, the big disadvantage for the Cannoneer are like kind of mirror matchups, right? Like cycle with a cycle, I lost a ton of cycle decks matchups against Patro. Even my overall did more damage than him, but my tower starts with less HP, so I kind of lost them. Even I did more damage than him because my tower has less HP at the start. So because my spear goblins were alive, I felt like, okay, it makes sense for me to go in just like for a lock there and don't waste the poison. Of course we're taking some damage, he gets a King to activation, but I still feel like this was fine, especially because he's forced to go for Baron Brawl. I got my Evo Knight on hand, so I'm kind of a lot up on Elixir, so I kind of want to push both lanes there. I'm just going to go for Spear Goblins on the right because I know he's Tombstone, so I don't really want to go for Wallies on the right. So the Wallies are going to connect on the left hand side there, and look at the Evo Knight actually chipping away. So the reason I went mine on the left hand side is like one of the like your main tips against graveyard decks. Doesn't matter if you have the Prince Tower Cannoneer, you never really want to push same lane because they're always going to get a ton of life with the Baby Ring. So you always want to push opposite lane that he's not able to get a counter push out of his defense. So he was a bit unlucky that the Knight didn't go back. So my Knight gets some decent amount of chip damage. But yeah, my Miner is still on tower, so it's okay. Miner gets a ton of damage here. I'm just going to go for the poison here. I'm just going to praying it's not going to be too much damage. Tower starts on 3-4, 3-5 and goes down to 3-3. So that was honestly really, really good graveyard RNG there for us, because sometimes the graveyard does like 500 damage, sometimes 200. So poison is one of the most inconsistent cards against graveyard. But yeah, in this type of game, I normally don't really like to do that, but I have to do it because, yeah, if I'm just gonna go Spear Goblins lock, it's not enough. It's not really enough. So look at the left-hand side. Actually, like Tombstone. Tombstone is so annoying for me to deal with. Tombstone might be the most annoying building in this as an opponent, because Spear Goblin, like Spear Goblin had an example, it's gonna be way better for me, but nobody plays it. And just like Tombstone, right? It's always gonna get chip damage. So he goes in Tombstone left side in the back. You normally could think, okay, just like for defend mining and so on. No, because it's the secondary win condition for him against me, because the Cannoneer sucks against it. So he goes in poison every time his knight is out of hand. I want to go to the safe spot, so his King Tower isn't attacking a miner. And every time he has his knight and cycle, I don't really want to go miner, or I go miner in the back because he's 1% predicting the safe spot. So these are kind of mind games you always need to consider while you're facing this. So I'm using my knight there. I'm thinking about just gonna go poison, and I think I'm taking a poison there. He goes in for another knight at the bridge, so I'm just gonna go miner once again on a safe spot. Keep up doing the same thing. So I'm just going to go for the bats here. And this might be a bit closer. So I need to go lock there. I'm also going to go for my spears now, I think. Spears are just coming down there. The good thing is the Baby Ring is going to be one shot from the tower. So I don't need to play anything. And now we're looking really, really good. He goes in for my miner there. I want to say that was a really bad miner placement. I should have gone for the safe spot, because he could have just pre-nadoed that, but he didn't. So we're just gonna go for my miner there for the poison. Now we're just gonna go log. GG's, well played. We beat an absolutely hard counter. So guys, this is the exact matchup I want to talk about with the Cannoneer. Of course, this matchup is also possible to win without the Cannoneer, but it's way, way harder. So I feel like in this matchup I have a ton in my mind what I want to do, but it's really, really, really hard to explain at the same time like I'm talking or like I'm watching this. So I'm trying my best to kind of show you how to win this matchup, because there's some strategic ways which, as I said, are hard to explain, but I'm still trying my best. So I'm using my knight here in the back just to cycle off the game. He could go for an Inferno Ring. He doesn't have Snowball and Cycle, so I'm fine. We get a subscription there. As I said, I'm currently live streaming on Twitch in English, but the next couple of days there will be also another stream on German, on Twitch, but I will also stream soon once again in English. Currently, I'm planning to stream every single global tournament and also streaming every single special challenge, like the in-game challenges for tokens and banners and emotes. So just to let you know, that's the current plan. So using Wallbreak as the right-hand side just to get some decent amount of chip damage maybe. I know Snowball is in hand, so I can just go Spears. And I kind of want to make sure that I'm kind of protecting my Spears, that the Cannoneer is helping, or like the Spears I have in the Cannoneer. And I want to go as late as I can with a Poison spell to make sure Inferno Ring gets the dice, and also Lava. The good or the important thing is the Cannoneer is going to be able to two-shot Inferno Ring with the help of the Poison without it actually takes a shot more. And this is, I mean, a ton of damage to be fair, but we also up on Elixir. I'm just going to go for my minor bats on the right-hand side, waiting for his arrows. And now he has a problem, right? Because he's going to be forced to play Knight plus Snowball, and this means we want to be aggressive. Cannoneer one-shots Bomber, so we got like a +2 elixir on the left-hand side, and he doesn't have his Knight and Bomber in hand, so he doesn't have anything on the ground. So I'm using my Spear Goblins there. He also doesn't have arrows and bow in hand, so he has like Lava Loon. Inferno Dragon and minions. This is his current hand. So he has some problems there. So I'm using this here. So now he cycled back to another bomber. Uses arrows now because he's back to them. But look at the miner just chipping away. Look at the miner just chipping away. And we're kind of going, of course, opposite lane. I don't want him to spend like Inferno Dragon in the same lane he's going for. So I'm just going to go for my wallies there. He goes to minions. This is perfect because I can just go Spear Golems here in the back. And this will be immediately a time where I'm going to go in for a Knight at the bridge and just going to go Miner in the back. So I don't really want to go bats first because I kind of want to bait until he plays a spell. So this kind of problem, I didn't know what to do, so I'm just going to snowball there. I'm just going to go bats to even I know it's snowball value, just to make sure kind of this even is going to die. So I'm just going to go Spear Golems there. Have a bomb tower ready, but it's not going to come down, so I'm just going to go Knight there. I'm using my bomb tower here. I'm also going to go Wall Breaker just to let him like play something on defense, which is really smart, because I know the Cannoneer is going to do a ton of work here. I'm just going to go bats. I know his snowball isn't in cycle, so I'm just going to go for my Spear Golems there as the last possible second, just making sure to kill everything. Poison's doing a great job. Now I'm just going to go for a Knight here, and I know it's just basically about Miner poisoning him out right now. So using my Knight here actually to block at the bridge, using my Wall Breaker left hand side, he goes in for 3 arrows, so I'm forced to go in for a bomb tower like that. He goes in for a late bomber. We know poison is enough. He knows poison is enough. So we're actually winning this game. GG's, well played. And this is the first game which got us to number 1 in the world on the first account. So at this point, we're currently number 1 and 3 in the world. But of course, we want to clinch the number 1 and 2 spot at the same time. Dominic is actually the only Lavahound player which finished, I think, 2 times number 1 in the world. Could be 3, but I think it's going to be 2. So he's really, really good with it. And honestly, this is a matchup I feel like it got better because of the Cannoneer. The Cannoneer is just helping you losing a ton of matchups against Lavahound because of the chip damage. And also, sometimes you just get destroyed by Balloon at the bridge, but they can't really go Balloon anymore since you got the Cannoneer. So I'm just going to go for my Spear Golems here just to kind of support this. He goes in for the Mega Main, which is completely fine. But yeah, I'm just going to go Miner there. I'm kind of want to wait what he does. He's most likely just going to go in for his guard. So the only problem, as I said, in this type of matchups are that you kind of always need to be a bit more aggressive in your playstyle since you're playing from behind. So using my log on the left-hand side, you might argue, why would you do that, right? Why would you do that? Yeah, I honestly did a mistake there. I should have played Knight on the left-hand side and not Bats because the Bats are completely wasted there. So I should have played Knight and then Bats behind this because he also didn't have Zap and Cycle. So it would have been a better play in my opinion. Also making sure to get an Evo Knight soon. And you kind of always want to support your Bats. Bats are one of the key cards in the game. So I always go Log on top of the Barbs because I know Barbs, Log plus Cannoneer one-shots Barbarians. So this is a really good thing. So I'm using now my Wall Breaker here directly at the bridge. Just gonna get some decent amount of chip there. Or like trying at least. He goes in for a Zap, which is completely good trade. And this is the biggest difference for the Cannoneer interaction. If you play like the Princess Tower and you're playing a Bomb Tower, you're still defending it flawless. Both towers, if you play this in the best bomb tower placement, but you still take death damage with the Cannoneer, you don't do this. So I'm just gonna go for my bats there, and now just time to go for Miner. He's forced to Fireball, but look at the Miner. Look at the Miner, just doing a ton of chip damage. You're also not forced to defend Mega Mains anymore, otherwise the Mega Main would get one shot. So I'm just gonna go for my Spears there. I'm also going to go Wall Breaker. I just want to always pressure both sides, and Wall Breaker is just like a card which you can always play at the bridge to apply aggression. So it was pretty obvious that he's going to do it. So I'm just going to Bats here. I'm just going to Miner there. He's going to go for a really good Barbarians. That was a really smart play from him. So we're kind of struggling here. So I'm just going to go in for my... I'm just going to go Wall Breaker there at the bridge. To be fair, now we get a bit unlucky. We're going to get a bit unlucky because, first of all, like, look at the Scale Rings, right? They're just going to go into the left-hand side and kill my entire Spear Gerbs, which is so annoying. So I'm also forced to go Bomb Tower. Look at the Scale Ring. Still staying alive, still doing an absolutely incredible job. So I'm just going to go for my Poison there. In a really good time. Just going to go Wall Breaker, so he's still forced to play something on top of them. He goes in for the Mega Main. Mega Main is going to come late, so we do get a Wall Breaker shot. Now we're currently leading the game with by like a hair, 80 damage up front. So time to just go Knight again. I want to keep up the pressure. He can't go Lava on them. I'm just going to go for a Miner. This is like a really great poison. Take a look at this massive poison spell. So much value, so much damage. This is exactly what you want to see in Clash Royale. So using my Spear Golems there again. Now I'm just going to wait because he's going to go Zap, so I can go Bats. This time I have an Evo Knight, he doesn't have Barbarians in hand, so this is really good for us. I can just go Mine in the back, using my Log there. And then now he doesn't have his Evo Barbs and Cycles. So look at the Evo Knight, that's doing so much work. And look at the Miner. So this is honestly a really free poison I'm going to take. Here I think I'm doing a small mistake. I should have spent Spear Golems high to just distract it. He goes in for this, so this is a bit bad. So I'm just going to go Spear Golems there. need to go mine wall breaker. He has to go guards because he didn't have zap and cycle, so this basically means the only real catch to my miner are the barbarians, which he doesn't have in cycle, so I can just go knight here, and we go in for the poison spell. GG's, well played, hitting number 1 and 2 in the entire world at the same time with my favorite deck of all time, Miner Poison Control. I love playing this deck. I had a ton of success with, and make sure to use this deck now if you have an upgrade. But I can tell you guys, this deck is one of the most consistent decks to upgrade. So if you really want to focus your gold, your elite wildcards on the deck, use this deck because it's just so good. I love playing it. It's so great and so consistent. I'm playing this deck for like 3 years. Of course, sometimes it's better, sometimes it's worse. But as you guys can see, GOAT now number 1, SK mod number 2, and this is it for today's video.